The difference between innovators and followers isn't timing, it's courage. Hey everybody, Colten Roderigue from Elefante RevOps here. Steve Jobs didn't wait for proof, he created it. Most businesses, on the other hand, wait to see if something works before they move. And that single mindset is why innovation stalls. Today we're talking about one of my favorite frameworks in business, the innovation adoption curve. A model that explains why some companies lead markets while others are always 2 steps behind. And more importantly, we'll talk about what it takes to cross the chasm, that dangerous gap where most new ideas, products, and even GTM strategies die before they ever scale. Let's dive in. So what exactly is the innovation adoption curve? It was first introduced by Everett Rogers in the 1960s in his book, Diffusion of Innovations, and later made famous in tech by Geoffrey Moore in Crossing the Chasm. At its core, it's a bell-shaped curve that shows how different groups of people adopt new ideas over time. There are 5 main groups. First, innovators. They make up only about 2.5% of the population. They're the visionaries, the people who don't need social proof or precedent. They see the world not as it is, but as it could be. Think Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, or early founders building an AI before it was cool. Innovators act without needing permission. They build the future before anyone else believes in it. Take Steve Jobs. In the late 90s, while everyone else was building bigger mainframes from corporations, he was obsessed with putting a computer in every home. That idea sounded ridiculous at the time. Investors laughed at it. But that's what innovators do. They bet on what will be obvious years before it is. Or think about the founders who started building AI tools back in 2015, long before ChatGPT, long before the hype. Most people didn't even understand use cases yet, but those early innovators were already building infrastructure that today powers billion-dollar companies. Second, early adopters. These are the trend spotters, the ones who see potential and jump in early. They love trying new tools, new frameworks, new approaches. They help validate an idea and often become the first case studies, the first champions, and the first voices of credibility. Without early adopters, innovation never gains traction. Third, the early majority. Now we move into the pragmatists. These people don't want to take risks, they want proof. They wait until there are measurable results, strong references, and clear ROI before they adopt something new. Once the early majority buys in, you move from idea to mainstream. Fourth, the late majority. They enter only when the new idea becomes the industry norm. They're motivated not by innovation, but by necessity. They join because everyone else already has. Finally, the laggards. These are the traditionalists. They resist change until they have no choice left. They're still using Excel when everyone else is on HubSpot, still managing leads manually when automation has been standard for a decade. And here's the key insight. Every innovation, every GTM motion, every business model moves along this curve. What changes is how fast you move through it and whether you survive the middle part. Between early adopters and the early majority, there's a gap known as the chasm. The chasm is the dead zone where great ideas go to die. On one side, you have the visionaries who love new things because they're new. On the other, you have pragmatists who need stability, proof, and process. Bridging that gap is the hardest part of scaling innovation. Let's make it real. Remember Clubhouse? It was the audio-only social app that blew up during the pandemic. People were jumping into live conversations with founders, creators, and even celebrities in real time. For a while, it felt like the future of social media. During the pandemic, it exploded. Visionaries and early adopters loved it. The exclusivity, the novelty, the potential. But when it tried to reach mainstream users, it fell into the chasm. Why? Because the early majority didn't see lasting value. There wasn't a clear system or reason to stay. Now contrast that with something like Slack. Slack started as an internal tool for gaming developers, but they nailed the transition from innovators to pragmatists. They built proof, created integrations, and turned the early excitement into operational reliability. That's how you cross the chasm. Crossing the chasm isn't about hype. It's about translation, turning visionary energy into systems that scale. So, how do you apply this framework to your own GTM motion or business model? Here's a simple 4-step playbook. Step 1, know where you are on the curve. Are you innovating, adopting, following? Most teams think they're early adopters, but they're actually late majority. Look at your decision-making speed, your data systems, your risk tolerance. They'll tell you exactly where you are. Step 2, tailor your message to the right audience. Visionaries and pragmatists speak different languages. Visionaries care about possibility. What could this become? Pragmatists care about proof. Will this work for me right now? If you sell to everyone with the same message, you'll lose both. Step 3, build bridges of credibility. Crossing the chasm requires social proof. Customer stories, reference cases, integration partners, and data. These are the trust signals that make pragmatists say yes. You're not just selling an idea anymore. You're selling reliability. Step 4, don't scale too early. Most startups fail because they try to scale before crossing the chasm. They ramp spend, expand the team, and chase growth before they've built a stable bridge from visionaries to pragmatists. Validate first, scale second. And if you think about it, this doesn't just apply to product adoption, it applies to go-to-market strategy, RevOps systems, and even company culture. Every new idea has to cross its own chasm before it compounds. So let's bring it home. Every company says they want to innovate, but true innovation isn't about being first. It's about building systems that make new ideas sustainable. Innovators create, early adopters validate, pragmatists scale, and the late majority follows. The real question is, where are you on that curve right now? Are you building what others will one day copy, or are you waiting for proof that it works? If you want a deeper analysis of how your company can cross its own chasm and design a scalable GTM motion, you can schedule a conversation with our team at Elefante RevOps. The link is in the description. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me which part of the curve your business is in. I'm Colten Roderigue. Thanks for watching. Keep doing it big, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!